What it is, my peoples. Thank you for once again entering the FoulPlayLand with me. As always, this year, next year, I will continue to be your foul player. But all jokes aside, man, like thanks for you guys coming on. Like much love to a lot of the cats and feline ladies that have supported me like throughout time, but Also, like a lot of the cats that have been coming on and checking me out lately, I appreciate that 100%. Like, everything aside, you know, not saying it's no like making a loop and blowing my own horn, or but just the fact that I always had my reservations about doing this stuff more often than not, and like I always had a little bit of trepidation, but you guys have guided me through, like my man Watcher, um, my man Michael Johnson boxing talking more. Who else? Tyrone, Los D, uh, and other cats too. I mean, like cats that have shown like channels that have shown me love. Channels that like watch me. Here and there at least. That means like the world to me because I religiously watch a lot of these channels. Um, so I mean, you know, more than humble is what I want to say. Um, enough about me though. Um, ah, the I hope you guys had a monumental 2021. All seriousness, it's hard out there, and let God and please if my signal looks like choppy, like let me know. But I hope you guys had a monumental 2021. You know, all kidding aside, like and also too, like don't bring the crap from this past year into next year. I mean, for a lot of people, 2021, 2020, um, the year before stunk. Um, and if it didn't, I mean, oh well. But for a lot of people that I know, and for a lot of people 2020 and 2021 have kind of stunk. And I hope that 2022 we switch up all that. You know what I'm saying? Like leave the dead weight behind, and um, let's get this year ripping, or this year in a few days. I didn't even know it was the 30th. Up until I made this live stream, like when I set it up on StreamYard, um, I peeped that it was December 30th. So I mean, like, Watcher agrees with us. Will is a clown. Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't know who you are, but um, it's not that kind of party. Again, leaving dead weight behind. But anyhow, as far as you know, this year coming up, I mean, like who knows? I mean, like one thing though, too, man, like that gives me a little bit of hope is that I have been seeing like people like kind of like sift through bullshit a lot faster, like than even last year. Jose R, what's up? He said, "Yo, what's up? Hey, peace to you, Jose R. Thanks for coming through." But there was a lot of whackness about this year, and I don't know if it's more of a of instances of people like being outright with like their bullshit more. Um, this past year and the year before, or like that some people are like kind of like have their radar up like for the bullshit that's coming down the pipe now that we're and are able to detect it more. Who knows? But I do get hope that like a lot of people's bullshit detector is on at all times. As is mine. I sniff out BS like a beagle. But I also wanted to come on tonight too, because I'm not going to be able to come on tomorrow. More likely than not, because I got to watch the college football playoffs. I got to watch the Twilight Zone, and I want to chill with my family and finish up this show. Another thing too, if you guys, I was talking about the show at Station 11 the other day. If you guys could on HBO, that show is banging, bro. I just finished watching it right before I started the stream, like one of the last episodes. If you could, I mean, I like end of the world shit, like and in my heart of hearts, like I'm sort of like I'm not gonna say a prepper, but I be buying shit and like just stashing it, like as far as food and all that shit. But I like to watch end of the world shit because I like to peep, like what if it happened, like on some Mad Max shit, Or what if it happened like fucking like this show, or like there was a movie called The Road that I recommend. It came out in 2009 with Viggo Mortensen, I think his name is, the dude from Lord of the Rings, and that's an end of the world joint too. But like motherfuckers like eating each other in that movie. So like and it's like way more rugged than like Mad Max, let's say. So like I like to think of like what if like the world became that shit, like fucking like on some apocalyptic shit. Like a lot of people like probably like envision some end of the world scenario like as if it'll be like camping or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Which it could be, but I like to watch shit like that in the event that it's not, or in an event that we all are facing a scenario like that. And I like to see how I could have the right mindset, if you will. I do want to buy some more toys like for these scenarios too. You guys don't know I'm a big time like I like shooting and stuff like that. The I've always been into it, and I try to stock up on that stuff too, because that shit's going up in price heavy duty. And I mean, I don't sell that shit, but I always try to give you guys a little bit of financial advice too. If you want to make a little bit of a quick bread, like buy like ammunition, like bullets and shit like that. Buy it by like 1,000 and just hold on to it. Like fucking if you want to sell it in a year, sell it in a year. But if not, I mean, like it's worth way more. And imagine like if some shit, God forbid, were to go down, like some end of the world shit. I always remember in Mad Max, like where he had that little the shotgun, but he only had like 4 or 5 bullets. You know, so he was like conserving them. Every time that they would show guns in the movie Mad Max, like you could tell, they gave you the impression that like they weren't trying to be reckless as far as shooting off, and if they didn't have to. So I mean, like in a scenario like that, no matter what, like that's gonna be worth something. I mean, and if you got something to shoot it out of, that much better. But yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the whack situations that went off this year too, and as far as with that other situation too, man, I'm not gonna like address that stuff like unless like there's like new instances and shit like that, like with this clown, but it's more of a sense that it's not even that I have to address that a lot of times. It's just that like a lot of times that he like starts stuff, it's more like it's like real vicious. Like I can see somebody like that like doxing somebody, like with doxing, from what I know, is where they put like your personal information out there like for the public. Like I'm not into like whole shit like that. Like I'm not into like fucking trolling channels or trying to like get their shit pulled off like with YouTube. I think that's whack. You know, but at the end of the day, like I don't see like it's corny when like um somebody gets hurt, like even if it's emotionally, like not that I've been hurt. He talked bad about me on YouTube. Like no, I've never been fucking emotionally hurt by YouTube stuff, but people on here could be pricks, like, and very vicious about shit like that. And I mean, since I've been on here, like, I mean, the couple of instances that I do remember, I mean, like, had to do with him, like, almost like principally, or like, was like the assistant principal, like, fucking instigator. And it's just like that. He's bad news, bro. Like, if y'all don't see that, like, it's like with all these situations that like happen in front of you nowadays, and people try to act like they're not happening in front of you, and call you like out by your name, like because you're just saying what your God-given eyes are peeping. You know, I'm not into that stuff, bro. And again, like I'm not like lying one iota of anything I've said, like in relation to that clown. You know, it's not that kind of party. Like at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that he's like a dad, or a husband, or whatever the hell. but don't get online like because you're bored to set off fires all the time. Duke, you know, like and the thing is too, like, you know, a lot of the cats that he's kind of like taking aim at, like I know a lot of those cats, dudes that are like cool with me. And I mean, like, you know, I don't have to be the one playing like, you know, trying to save somebody all the time either. Like, and I don't really do that. Like, but you know, a lot of that stuff, like even like to address me like once, like not like address me, but like even like to bring me up once in like some bullshit and lie, like in reference to me, like, you know, I find that like stuff like, you know, it's like unacceptable. But like then to see it like to happen to other people all the time and like calling people out of their name, like just like how I say, like, you know, a lot of other people are like dads too, or like married or at work. I don't want to hear that bullshit, bro. Like, you know, to be called by your own, like to be called like, you know, like denied your black card, you know, like and shit like that, or like people calling you out, and then, you know, like to have tons of people do it, or like to for somebody to like him, like to try to convince other people like that, you know, you're no good. Like it's corny stuff, bro. At the end of the day, I mean, though I rather not talk about boxing primarily, and like eventually, if I ever do get any traction in this channel, I'm gonna try like to talk way less boxing. But everybody comes here for entertainment, bro. You know, this is not like a political statement. Like ain't shit happening in boxing that's so great where you could even try to make a political statement. At the end of the day, bro, these dudes are here to entertain us. You know, period. Like you don't know like shit about anything, like in relation to the sport, um, in life, like about being a man in general, like, you know, like because a lot of that attitude is like very sassy, bro. It's sassy. I'm sorry, bro. No, I'm making sure I read through the comments. But a lot of, you know, and again, you know, a lot of this stuff may not be anybody's business, including mine. But you know, when it's a constant tear down, and you know, um, I'm just like taking a stance of like, you know, like whenever I see it popping off like that, I mean, like especially if I know it's somebody like like that's decent, you know, um, I'll just make it uncomfortable in that sense, like, you know, and you know, this has been going on like for years too. You know, a lot of that stuff is like way, 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 way like underhanded. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the kind of stuff, you know, we don't gotta carry into like um the future. 2022, 2 more days. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a recurring thing. Like, you know, that's it. It's whack as hell. Like whack as hell. Like, you know, and I hope that people just put a muzzle on Duke, or like that shit doesn't carry on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it brings a whole like level of spice to the game that, you know, people don't need. Um, and if I call it out, I mean, like, you know, I'm not like making shit up like other people do. Like, you know, I'm not like trying to convince you by like trying to come up with these like base point arguments. Like, no, like just telling you like map shit out like for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got no drama with like anybody, like on fucking corny ass YouTube. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the fights for next year too, like going into boxing. Um, Next year, I mean, like that first quarter seems pretty whack, bro. First quarter, as far as like what's guaranteed, like to go down, like I've been overly critical, like, or you know, I've been critical of the pay per view offerings that PBC is doing. The three, or yeah, no, oh, it is three, yeah. The Ugis Spence, the Thurman Barrios, and Ortiz Martin, like back to back to back. All those three are a wash. As far as prospects go, you're hearing like Bob Aaron putting the rumor out there that maybe down the line, Canelo takes on damn, what the hell, like that my I'm having these memory lapses with the Russian light heavyweight. I can't recall his name off the rip. But they're saying that he's gonna fight Canelo may fight Joe Smith first, which and then fight Homeboy, but Joe Smith, I mean, like he's from the area. I knew of Joe Smith before the Hopkins fight, and I actually put a little wager on that fight too, and I won. I actually put it for a knockout. I think prior to like round 8, but Joe Smith is a hard hitter, but like Joe Smith's from Long Island, like out here, pretty much. Like I don't he I don't know if he has that union job that everybody would like. Oh, they would always show on TV, like the construction shit that he was doing. But I do know that he has his own business, and it's like a tree removal shit in Long Island. But I mean, he may if he has that own business solely, maybe he still trains like every day, like or maybe that gives him the ability to train every day because he's working for himself. And usually doing shit like that, you don't got to be hands on as much. But it's I don't know. It's just that Canelo's fights ain't him, bro. Chop it up how you will. Like, yeah, I mean, I've said hater shit about Canelo in the past, but it's just that those fights ain't hitting, bro. Those are like just that line fights. Like, not like, I mean, if he ends up fighting that Russian dude whose name I can't recall at light heavyweight, that's a killer. If anybody could throw it up too, I'd appreciate it. But I'm just having like it's since this accident, like sometimes I just can't remember at all. But if that's the plan, Joe Smith and Russian dude whose name I can't remember off the rip, I mean, I would give him credit so long as there's no trickery in it. And that's one of the things that I fear with Joe Smith is that he's not exactly swimming in it. Even though I mean he probably does make good money for himself, but I mean if Canelo were to offer him X amount of money, like would he let him play like the weight games with him or so like and Canelo's known to do that shit as far as trying to um do prior like to 1 month you gotta weigh this and then a couple weeks later you gotta weigh up to a certain threshold too. Like that stuff's corny. Like it takes the taste out of it. And on top of that too, I mean it's like another like Joe Smith. I mean Joe Smith is hard hitting. I mean, but besides Hopkins, like nobody I expected Joe Smith like to lose to. I mean, like he didn't like surprise me and beat them. Even when he fought Cuban homie, I thought that was like a 60-40 fight for the Cuban homie, but Cuban homie outclassed him the whole way through. Let me see. Joe Smith still works with his dad at the tree cutting business they got. Yeah. Thanks for coming through, Bob Sanders, too. But yeah, I was just wondering whether he had that business and also worked with the union job because a lot of dudes do that so they don't lose like their union benefits and shit like that. But I mean, personally, if I had a tree cutting business and I also had a union job, even if I had benefits in 2 years and I had like 18 years in the job and I had to do 20 years to get those benefits, I'd break the fuck out. Like I'd do just the tree cutting business, especially if it's making money personally. But I don't know if he's doing both. If he's doing the union shit, like his construction job, and then the tree cutting business and fighting, that's where I'm like, I don't know. Like, and maybe he could be convinced to do something unscrupulous for some Canelo money. That's why, like, it's not like hitting like that. But I mean, like, honestly, like, a lot of people like riff about Canelo being like spicing up the game too, and a lot of people like I argue that a lot of like fighters kind of like wait around for Canelo, and then them cats don't fight, and it's like then we get like no fights, or in and around those divisions, and then he's hopping around divisions, and like a lot of cats in each division think that they have a chance at like fighting Canelo. So like then they don't take on fights. That's a lot of like my criticism, but in a sense too, like those fights, like Joe Smith, um, they're not hitting. Period. In spite of the fact that Joe Smith's a big dude and he's a hard hitter, it's just not it. And I think in large part, I mean, like, they're not like stop the world moments. Even though he's the top dog, like, pay-per-view wise, a lot of times, like, when these fights go down, like nobody's even peeping them. Like Caleb Smith, like, sexual chocolate, like the a white chocolate, the cat that a lot of these dudes that'll destroy Bud, like for some reason, like had an infatuation with Caleb Smith up until he got his ass whooped by Canelo recently. But like that fight came and went. Nobody gave two shits about it. You know what I'm saying? Like in spite of the fact that it was for a belt and he went up in weight, but I don't know. It's just not it. And it's a lot of my frustration, especially this past year, has a lot to do with the fact that if you want to be that top guy, which could happen, if one of these guys like puts the pedal to the metal and just starts taking on the biggest fights and rocking dudes, like you could bypass Canelo's popularity. Let's say if you're doing that shit, like what I said, like per se, if it's Devin Haney or some shit or Tank Davis, like, and they just start cleaning dudes out, beat Lomachenko, beat like whoever back to back to back, and right around the time that they do that, Canelo loses or some shit, then like you'd be baptized as the top doggy right then and there. So I mean, like when these guys like front, like Errol Spence and Bud Crawford on fighting each other, a lot of my frustration like goes on that. It's like you could be that dude, but you're over here fucking wasting time. Caleb Smith was a good fighter, winning the WBSS. He came over here and got starstruck. Yeah, I may have mixed up names before too, like when I mentioned who Canelo's last opponent is, and said Caleb Smith. Again, though, my memory's shot. But you know, and going into next year too, I mean, like, is anything that's pre-announced or rumored to be going down next year? Is that like shit that's gonna topple Canelo's like reign on the top of the sport? Fuck no. But the problem is online, you have people trying to convince you otherwise. Oh, like Errol Spence is this big draw and he's doing all this great shit. It's like I don't think what Canelo's doing is like such outstanding work, let alone like what I'm gonna think that like a cat like that's been sitting on the sideline with an injury for a year, in addition to fighting Danny Garcia right before said injury, like you're trying to convince me that he's top shit when I think he's just a regular cat. Even in today's era, regular cat, bro, regular accomplishments. Not shitting on the dude, bro. Like, but you know, I mean, and we start off in relation to him, like going into a Ugas fight, in spite of the fact that it's for a belt, it's just real regular matches, bro. It's like everybody's so like tense to challenge themselves and hold on to these O's, and you got cats that are that already have taken losses that are fronting on fighting certain fighters or navigating their careers carefully. Speaking of Danny Garcia, like where the fuck he's been? You know what I'm saying? Like and like it's there's a lot of that. It's just stagnation, especially on PBC. But again, I mean, like if it's not like even just a PBC this, but naturally if they have a big the biggest rosters, and they're given even at as they, if their fighters are fighting twice a year, which they're not. A lot of these guys fight once a year, if or take a year off entirely. But I mean, like that's just a large cadre of dudes not fighting each other. Now, if I'm a boxing diehard, which now I'm a casual, if you're a boxing diehard and you're waiting on these matches to go down, I mean, and you get no output. I mean, of course, I'm gonna be very sour on the internet if I'm talking about boxing. That's the reason that I want to really, really speedily try to find other shit to talk about regularly that has zero to do with boxing. Like, because I mean, doesn't shit happen on boxing? I'm not going to be going into boxers' Twitters like and wasting my time. Sorry, one of my cats just made some noise. I'm not gonna be on these dudes like social media trying to decipher what they're putting out. Like if they do two words in an emoji, like fuck that. Life's too short. I mean, like maybe I'm getting emotional prior to the year ending as far as like what I want to do with my time. But nobody, and I mean nobody, is gonna come and make it seem like any of these guys are doing anything worth a shit or that they're be above my criticism. And I mean, if you want to get some predictions as far as what you're gonna get as relation to content here, it's gonna there's no dick pulling on this side. I don't think anybody's doing anything of any substance. I'm very critical of Errol Spence, but it's not like I'm saying, oh, Bud Crawford is doing something fantastic. I think Bud Crawford's doing good shit, um, or has done good shit in his career. But I'm not over here like fucking worshiping the ground he walks on and shit. He could do no wrong, or even the sense of like me trying to contend with all these Errol Spence defenders. I'm not gonna to counter that. Um, Start becoming a big time Bud trumpeter either, bro. Like it's not that kind of party, bro. And I find it real funny when a lot of the cats like say like, "Oh well, all these Bud Man fans online." Like, I mean, I haven't seen like a large faction of Bud fans like that where it's just like he could do no wrong and you know overly praising like his accomplishments. I mean, if a lot of those fans can't stand Errol Spence, it's because like they view Errol Spence as the guilty party more as to why this fight hasn't gone down. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like a bunch of dudes online that I've seen. I mean, if you know of any factions online here like that are riding Bud's dick like that, I mean, do tell me in the comments. But I haven't seen them. But you know, but again, like, am I gonna like sit here and like try to turn a blind eye like to what Bud has done, like in not making this fight? No. Or I mean, like, and I could almost give Bud a wash in this sense, like because it seems as if PBC like just had a stance when it came to Bud that there was no negotiations to be had. Like it was an impossible feat, even though like Wilder negotiated a fight with Fury 3 times. Um, but having said all that, there was a limited options for him to fight. I mean, and in spite of that, and Errol had many options, and even then, like not much that Errol done, like in spite of the fact that he had all these options. I mean, is it all that? Like you gotta explain Errol's accomplishments to people. You gotta say, oh, it's because this guy had a belt, or like, but it's not like, oh, this fight was like cracking, in addition to the fact that it was for a championship, or in addition to the fact that it's this other boxer that he beat in there that was just nasty. Like, nah, bro. None of that. I mean, like, and it's not dissing him, but let's like come on, like 2022, bro. Let's try to not make it seem like Bud Crawford is doing anything more than Errol Spence and vice versa. But particularly vice versa. Like, let's not try to make it seem like Errol Spence has done all this grandiose shit. Where you're gonna like come into the internet like here and riding and dying and saying Errol Spence deserves a bigger split. He got a bigger piece of the pie. He needs a bigger piece of the pie. Errol Spence is putting butts in seats. Even though there's been a pandemic for the past couple months, he's putting butts in seats. Like, shut up. It's just clownery, bro. Like, and don't like, when I do my imitations, like as far as like the emotional Errol fan, like, I mean, I am like being a clown and like doing it, but like I also listen to a lot of YouTube too, trust me, and like especially a lot of these YouTube channels with call-in lines. I mean, like the people that call in there are inbreds a lot of time. Like shit, like say the most nonsense points, like defending like Errol Spence lately, especially. Like honestly, I mean, it's most of the shit that I listen to, which are the channels that I've been listening to for ages, where I'm seeing a lot of the overcompensation, like in defense of Errol Spence, and it's just hilarious, honestly. But the channels that have the ability to have a call-in line, it's like cringe, beyond cringe. And I mean, like it's like a lot of times the hosts don't even contend the stupidity that these callers do. I mean, because a lot of the hosts do the same shit, bro. Same shit. One step off. They may explain it away in a nice presentation, or they may not go over the top with their criticism. But a lot of the people that are like these radicals online, know that they have a home in you at times. You may not be over the top, but a lot of the people you cater to, are. But let's hope we dead a lot of that shit in 2022. I mean, I don't want to announce like fights that I want because it's like fucking. Honestly, we get less fights that matter to me at the end of the day than fights that or we get fights that don't matter way more often, far less frequency than shit that I want to see more often. So I don't like to do these wish list things because pretty sure like one, my brain is shot, but in addition to that, um my wish list probably looked almost exactly the same as last year's. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope that we end a lot of the whack shit in relation to boxing, especially like, and how we discuss the sport and like how like dudes be getting too caught up behind these boxers, bro. Like you sound like womanly, like when you come online, like not even these boxers' wives, like are so over the top and like so emotionally attached to like as some of these cats online are. And it's not dissing a lot of these cats, and it's not like y'all that I view you as irredeemable. Like, you could correct your shit tomorrow, bro, and like, there's no issue. I mean, like, but we gotta see what we contribute like to the game. I mean, like, is the way you're talking like netting us more fights? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like, if you're rooting from somebody, you know, um, and he goes in and fights somebody that you don't think he's gonna beat, and then he beats him. I mean, like, and you're a fanboy like that, like, I mean, like, wouldn't that be outstanding? Like, so what's your reason to like not make fights go down? Like, like how's evasiveness from these boxers entertaining you? Like, do you get entertained by the thought that your favorite boxer is considered that dude, even though he may not have necessarily proved it in the ring? Or do you want him to show you that he's that dude and knock motherfuckers out that you don't expect him to? Like, for example, like I always use Danny Garcia, bro. Like, because I'm Puerto Rican, but Danny Garcia, um, I always say that he looks like my son, and his dad was a lot like my dad. But I just thought, like, honestly, the fight that really, really got me to him, because at first I found his dad annoying, but then I was like, yo, this dad is the man, bro. Like, that's exactly like my father, like, may he rest in peace. But the fight that really got me to start liking Danny Garcia, like really liking him, was when he beat Amir Khan. I thought he was gonna get his ass whooped against Amir Khan, and that's when PBC was knocking, bro. Like, like, think about it. Like, the PBC puts Danny Garcia, who's unbeaten, against Amir Khan. You know, and if I remember correctly, that fight was in no, I don't know if that fight was in DC or not, but who cares? But then seeing Danny Garcia like knock him out, and it was such an eventful fight that got me on him for like years. But in addition to the fact that he's Puerto Rican, but I think the point that I was trying to make was that I'm not gonna come here like like capping for him. Who the fuck knows what point I was trying to make? But you know, I'm hoping that I could come on tomorrow, like for a little bit, because I wanted to talk about something else too before the year is out, like shit not related to boxing. Like, and I want to get into talking about shit like that, as far as like easy investing shit, like fucking. I would never try to sell you guys on no shit, bro. Like fucking, I hate like having to convince people to do something where it would give me money. Like, that shit is corny. Like fucking like or recommend like some product or some shit like that. Like, no, like fucking dumb version, or like way of like investing, or like trying to protect yourself, like fucking from stupidity. Because there's a lot of stupid shit happening right now. And actually, somebody told me today that here in fucking which I found very suspicious, here in America, in Colorado, which is like a real mountainous area out west, there was like a whole town that like had it started having like forest fires. It was like grass fires, and it caught like on the forest, but that's like mad suspect, because right now like it's like kind of like one of the wetter times in the season. I've never heard of Colorado catching forest fires like that, but they showed like a whole town like completely like fucking like engulfed, and it was like all the important buildings too, which I found like funny, like a Tesla sales place, but also in another part of Colorado, like Boulder or Aurora, like it's like a nice part of Colorado, like a ritzy area. They said that right now that shit is like shut down, like that. I think it's like snowed in, and you can't get in or out. And that motherfuckers that usually go out there, they go to like hotels and Airbnbs, and that there's like no gas. Like only one gas station has gas. That that there's cats that were like renting like a hotel out there or Airbnbs, and they're breaking into other Airbnbs to try to like salvage food and shit like that. So I mean, that's why I say like shit like that. That's more like along the lines. Even though I'll talk about investing in other shit too. But if you don't have like a little stash of like shit that you could hunker down at the cribs and eat long term, like you're kind of like missing out. And you don't need like a big ass space, bro. You use like one little shelf full of like canned shit, and you're Gucci, bro. Like no cereal, shit like that. Cause you eat cereal and you fucking you get hungry afterwards. Like fucking shit that you would need, like your body would need and shit like that. that's cheap. Like, you know, you could buy like 3 cans of beans or some shit like that for three of them for like $2. So stop being a cheap fuck too, man. Like if you buy stupid shit, like a lot of you guys like that play shit online and pay for like skins and shit like that, like my son does, or just dumb shit. Ordering fights, like fucking I love him. I gotta order it. You gotta support these guys. You have to. Uh, Like rather than do that, I mean, like you could literally fill up like 2 shelves worth of shit for $75. Come on, bro. Think about it. But I mean, like, you know, I want to carry that shit on to 2022. Um, and again, too, man, I want to try to do like interviews of people I find interesting. Um, I don't want to bring some fucking asshole here, like to try to like blow his own dick and like act like he's a big shot. Like I like interesting people, and a lot of like aren't like fucking famous or popular. Like I find people interesting for stupid stuff a lot of times, but still, you know, I'm not gonna bring somebody here to talk about fucking paintbrushes or some shit. But you know, trying to think about some like I wouldn't interview a fucking boxer. Like unless it's like some fucking big cat, which know what a big cat wouldn't even say hi to me. Fucking like a big boxer wouldn't say hi to me. But like I wouldn't be like interviewing some fucking rando boxer because what the fuck is he gonna tell me? Like, yeah, I put a lot of hard work in and I punch bag and you know I go to the gym every day. Like big fucking whoop. Never heard that before. Like, you know, I'm not gonna wait even like, you know, when channels go above and beyond for like a smidget of access to these boxers, I'm like most times, like honestly, like besides Deontay Wilder, like I've never heard like any of these boxers go on somebody's channel and say something that's like riveting, like unless it was like by accident or some shit, or he was drunk, you know. But like I don't want to go around like chasing like some fucking some boxer like for in the hopes that I get him to say fucking my name or some shit. Like I mean, like because picture an interview with Tank Davis. I mean, or go watch a Tank Davis interview. Like these dudes are like fucking not that great personalities. Like they're boring most times. But I wouldn't want to interview like some of those cats. Like, you know, just want to interview random cats. Like um, I was gonna say that I wouldn't want to interview any fucking rappers because I fucking hate rap. But I do want to interview a rapper. And only because he's an interesting person, not because like his music. Because frankly, I've heard a little bit of his music, but again, it's not like I don't like listen to rap. But the stuff that you know, the person I have in mind, um, I think would have a lot more shit to talk about besides rap that would be way more interesting. So that's the reason why I want to bring him on. But I don't know. I want like bring on like people to talk the gang stuff, like because I know a lot of people that could shed a little light on that. Again, interesting ones too, not like fucking some asshole um talking about like some stupidity, like fucking and how their shit was better than the next guy's. No, like interesting stuff, like finding out like you know how they came into the shit and stuff like that. But who knows? I'll play it by ear, but I do want to be more committed to this shit like in 2022. That's my resolution, and I want to do lose some weight because I'm a fat fuck. But besides that, though, I mean, like you know, I hope you guys, whatever you set your mind to next year, um, you guys knock it out the park. You fucking crush it. The world's gone mad. Fucking I've probably gone mad along with them, but you will get my perspective. Like fucking unabashedly, like fucking, I don't hold my tongue for anybody. I hate people for the most part. Um, and even though I'm not a hater like that, like fucking, but I mean, life's too short, like to keep it within you, like fucking But one thing that I don't want to keep within me is the love that I want to show you guys for coming through and wasting your time with the fat Puerto Rican from Brooklyn. Like fucking But with that, if I don't get on here tomorrow, I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's Eve and a wonderful 2022. With that, I'm your boy, Foul Player. Peace.